Yep. Bet. Oh, lit. Lit. I tried that and it was like, all good. Appreciate you. Or just letting other people flow in. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for coming in here today. I'm gonna wait a few, I would say probably 5 more minutes. Maybe we're gonna get straight into it, just because it is a jam-packed session. A lot of alpha provided, a lot of insights when it comes to building an app with AI. It's, some exciting times that we're in right now, and I'm super excited to kind of share some gems with you guys to really 10x your productivity or your business or your ideas. I think we're in a really uh, revolutionary times when it comes to tech. So super excited. So everybody's just joining in. So that's good. That's good. We're gonna give it about 4 more minutes, and then we're gonna just kick it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, gotcha. I think I'm gonna just
Hey, Michaela. Nice to meet you as well.
um Karima, can you hear me now? Yeah. I'm gonna just use my AirPods instead. Um, Got to figure out what's going on with the Yeti. Got to figure it out. We almost there, folks. 3 more minutes, and then we gonna get it. We gonna get the show on the road. I know time is valuable. Time is money, and money is time. So definitely appreciate everybody that's coming into this call here today. We are expected about 85 people to join in here today, but let's see. The real ones are the ones who show up and want to learn something. So I appreciate you guys, your time on this lovely Thursday at 2 p.m. or wherever you guys are calling in from. And super excited, super excited. So I'll give about 3 more minutes and then we're going to get the show on the road. All righty. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat um, as we go along with this. I'm pretty sure. Good morning, Ben. I'm pretty sure there's some nuances that some people may not understand, some people do understand, and I want to be able to provide as much help as possible. So, oh yeah, appreciate that. Right? Damn, I feel like a boomer. What do you press record at on Google Meet? Oh yeah, it says unavailable to record. That's interesting. Mm, all good. All good. All good. We're gonna give it 1 more minute and then we're gonna get the show on the road. We have a good chunk amount of people here. 1 more minute. Got about 28 folks in here. That's good. 28 folks. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have the latecomers coming in once I start. Astrid, thank you so much for coming. Naya, thank you so much for coming. Kamari, what's up? What's up? Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All righty, it's 2:05. We're gonna get the show on the road. Uh, if everyone could just please just mute themselves throughout this time, highly appreciate it. And yeah, just wanted to kick it off. Thank you so much for coming through for Vibe Code 101. We are going to be vibing today. I'm super excited to kind of just tee this off. Vibe Code, honestly, it's been a thing for I want to say 2 to 3 months for me per se. If it wasn't for Karima, shout outs to Karima for really inspiring me to kind of get into this like Vibe Code 101 wave. Explain a little bit more about what that is. But my origins in vibe coding really started when in 2017 when I wanted to create an app called Trip Me, and Trip Me was just really trying to really reverse the actual model of building apps with having Ubers, Airbnbs, all in one app. And that's really when my journey started with building apps. And then I became a product manager in 2021 for an e-commerce platform that is backed with the NFTs. And we raised about $1.1 million in over 48 hours. And that's really where I honed in on my product management skills. But then Vibe Code came out, then a lot of these tools came out with AI enhancements. And I thought to myself, why not sprinkle product management approach to really scale your app concept, right? It really defines the features and the impact that you really want to expand on. And I just figured that although natural language works, I think product management approach works even better. So I'll explain a little bit why as to why that approach works. Right. So what the fuck is vibe coding? Right. It's literally using natural language to describe your app idea into the language model. And with vibe coding, you're literally talking to like another engineer, you're talking to another developer, right? So when we're taking this approach and trying to build an app, it's really about what is the execution and what is the output that you want with vibe coding. And I will show you guys a demonstration on how to go about that. I will be picking a random person in the chat to literally build your foundation today live, right? So the first couple of minutes, we're going to run through what is product management, how to use this into vibe coding, and being able to really have great productivity and really excel on your app. Um, so vibe coding for me, right? It brings me back to the days of MySpace. It brings me back to the days of really being able to have like that artistic nuance and being able to build something. I know for me, when I first started coding, it was literally when I was 14, 15 in the MySpace era. And for me, it was just a way to kind of vibe out, right? Like what is the theme of my page? What I want people to think of when they first land on my page. For me, I'm a big music head, so all my themes were music related. But vibe coding now, it's bigger than that, right? It's a bigger unlock for the economy. And when I say that, it's a bigger unlock for the economy is that you're able to now 10x or 20x your productivity whenever you're trying to build or scale an app in the matter of hours, right? Whether you're building a minimal viable product, whether you're building just a landing page for your business, whether you're trying to sell prototypes to different companies, you're able to do that in a matter of minutes. Now, there are some nuances that goes into that, but the fact that you're able to just say, "Hey, can you build me an app that records my habits?" It's insane on how quick that could happen, right? So, um, Mr. Top 10, I feel you. And I think that we're in a space right now where there's a lot of money to be made, especially with vibe coding. So vibes plus coding equals cash. Um, so why vibe code, right? As I mentioned before, you're able to build your business page, your landing page, your passion project, whether you do crochet or whether you are a graphic designer, whether you sell food or whatever the use case is, you're able to build your business page in a matter of minutes. You're able to build your MVP, right? You got this one idea. You got this one thing that's really been keeping you up at night, whether it's a fitness app, whether it's a clothing app, whether it's a jewelry app, whatever that is, you're able to build your minimal viable product. And I'll explain a little bit more what that is, an MVP, in a matter of minutes, right? You could also build prototypes to sell, right? If you're someone like me, I always have these different ideas and I just go ahead and build them. You can sell these ideas to different entities or license them to different entities, and you're able to get paid out based on your ideas. So if you're someone with a lot of ideas, this is something for you as well. And why you can just build shit, right? Like you can just build stuff that you're passionate about. You can build stuff that brings you joy and passion, and being able to also make money off of that. So let's get into the product. You can just do things. Exactly. Exactly. You get it. Um, Product management methods plus vibe coding equals better prompts and features. And I'll explain why. So for the non-PMers, meaning non-product managers, PM methods, and I just kept it as real simple as possible because I want this to be digestible. The first, and in my opinion, one of the first methods is to really become agile, right? You cannot just build an app and just say, all right, I just built it. You know what I'm saying? It takes iterations, it takes a customer feedback loop, it takes multiple times to see like what actually works. You have to be flexible. That's what agile is. You have to be flexible with your idea. You cannot be stubborn with your idea. You have to understand that your idea is going to grow from one thing to the other. It's one of those things where you are continuously watering your idea, and your customers, your community is also going to water your idea because they're going to give you the feedback. They're going to tell you, hey, that back button doesn't work. Hey, when I try to do X, Y, and Z, I'm no longer able to do X, Y, and Z. You think you can fix that? Right. So that loophole of feedbacks is going to continuously grow your app, right? Design thinking, right? We have to think about what problem are we trying to really solve here, right? Too often I hear about apps that doesn't really drive impact. What is your impact when you're building this app, right? You have to really talk to the users that are going to be using this app. It's not about just, oh, because I like it. You also have to think about those users that are going to be using these apps, and being able to define and ideate and prototype and empathize with your users all at the same time. It's super, super essential. And last but not least, testing. You have to test your app. You have to test your ideas, because if it doesn't work, that means you have to pivot. And if the pivot doesn't work, you have to continuously reiterate what is your final goal? What are you trying to execute? Who are you trying to speak to? Um, Jobs to be done, right? When you're building an app, the user just doesn't want the drill, right? They want the hole in the wall so they can actually put the hook in, right? We want to make it as easy as possible. We want to focus on the customer outcomes, not the features. The customer outcomes is what makes your features. And if you're feature focused, you're gonna miss the point. And and I only say that because I've experienced that, right? I experienced that even as a first time PM back in 2021. Like I missed a lot of points where, wow, okay, let's scratch that. Let's focus on the customer outcome. Let's focus on what the customer wants to be able to really, you know, provide that value to them, right? Because they're using your product at the end of the day. They're coming on to you and saying, hey, we want to use your product. And you want to be able to deliver when you do have a viable product. So that kind of is a perfect segue into a minimal viable product, right? Ship now, perfect it later. Don't worry about, oh, well, the back button is green and I want it to be blue. No, don't worry about that right now. Worry about how much it works for the user. Don't worry about how pretty it looks. Don't worry about how, oh, it doesn't appeal. No, just ship it. If you have an idea and it works, and your communities or your customers are saying, hey, this is a good app, continue to build on it and perfect it later. You just need a minimal viable product, meaning that it works for just that thing that you want it to work for, whether it's a babysitting app, right? If you're able to sign on, book a babysitter, and pay the babysitter, all in those three shots, you have a minimal viable product. You have something now that you can build on and perfect it later for your consumers, for your customers, for your community. So it's okay if that first app that you build is not perfect. It's all right. Just ship it, get feedback. Show it to people. If you're building something, build it in public. Don't be scared. This is something that also Karima always like yells at me about. Like, yo, just build it in public, build it in public, build it in public. And I'm just like, yo, you're right, you're right, you're right. Build it in public, ship it. Doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. So one of the cute things to really avoid when you're prompting the AI to build your app is vague prompts, because vague prompts equal shitty results. You really have to learn how to communicate to the platform. If you don't know how to communicate to the platform, it is going to give you a shitstorm, if I'm being honest with you. I've experienced it. I'm pretty sure some of you guys experienced it too, just kind of just talking to AI. Try to avoid that, right? You have to be very direct. You have to be, I don't want to say over descriptive because sometimes it could also hallucinate the AI, but you have to give it some umph. You have to give it some of the meat and bones for the AI to understand, okay, this is what I'm building. You have to give it context. Second, do not, and I this is one of the things that I've learned as a PM, skipping user research will get you wrecked. And thinking that you know what they want will get you wrecked. You don't know what they want. You haven't tested it out enough for you to know what they actually want. So do your research, whether it's using Perplexity, whether it's using Google, whether it's going on Twitter or Instagram and seeing like, okay, I'm seeing these trends. Let me see if I could tap into that. It looks like a lot of people are enjoying this. Maybe there's a market for this, right? You have to know your market. You have to know your users. So make sure you're doing your due diligence when you're building your app and also doing your user research because that's going to be important. Um, do not over engineer stuff. Meaning, do not go into this app saying, hey, build me 50 gazillion features and think that is actually going to do it for you. Focus on top three or top five features that you want to implement on your app first. Um, do not focus on the little things, right? Like, I feel like sometimes we tend to overanalyze things. Try to focus on the top five features that you want for this app and then continuously have like that feedback loophole where whether it's your friends or community members or whoever it is that wants to use your app is providing you that feedback to enhance your product. Do not think that your app will just work just fine. As I mentioned before, you have to test it out. You have to test it out with different people. Just because you think it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for that other person. We all come with different perspectives and we work apps in different ways. Sometimes there's one app that may be suitable for me, but then if I was to have someone else use it, they say, yo, this user experience sucks. This, navigation sucks. So definitely try not to have that approach. Make sure that not only it works for you, but also works for your customers. It works for your consumers, your community members, whoever you're building for, your customer target audience. Make sure it works for them as well. Last but not least, this is not a one and done approach. Although you can build an app within 1 hour, you cannot go to market in 1 hour. You would need to continuously, as I mentioned, provide that feedback into that AI platform to make sure that you have the features working, that you're able to log in, that you're able to navigate, that your navigation bar works, that your footer and headers are all correct. You have to make sure that this is not something you think that you could just type in once and think that it's going to magically build it for you. No, it takes work, right? It takes a real grind to be able to ship something like this. But the beautiful thing about this is that it's not that expensive. It's not that expensive versus going to an actual developer and they charging you buku money, ten thousands of dollars at a time. Um, you know, with then it depends on which platform you're using. Today we're going to be using Lovable, but with Lovable you could get started for $20 a month. And with $20 a month, where they provide you the back end and you're able to kind of connect the back end all in one shot, you definitely do have to pay for the back end also, but it's roughly anywhere between 20 to like $200 depending on what you're trying to build. That's in this time, that's insane, right? Back then you would have to shell out a whole bunch of money to be able to build a product. Now you can build a product with less than $500, which is insane. So yeah. So what the fuck do I use to build better prompts? All right. So
one of the things that I use as a product manager is a PRD, a product requirement document. That is the master plan. This is how PMs, product managers, communicate to the engineers. This is the way they are able to tell the story of this app that they're trying to build, right? So I took it upon myself and say, hey, like we could definitely use PRDs with these platforms like Lovable, like Bolt, like Replit, to be able to build an app. But the problem is that PRDs are very, very lengthy. They have a lot of meat and bones into it, and we need to condense that a little bit so the AI can actually inhale all that information and able to go ahead and execute and build an app. So that's a PRD, and I'll put a pin on that because I'm actually going to show you in real time what a PRD is. And then next is a user story. User stories are literally just translating what the human needs into the development task. Like, what is the human need that they want to execute? What is the goal? What is the benefit of me going onto your app and clicking login? Using user stories will definitely paint that picture for you, and it allows you to create better prompts along the way. So this is the framework I pretty much created. It's very simple, especially if you're trying to kind of get into the weeds and ends of building an app on AI. First and foremost, you have to give it context, as I mentioned before, right? The context is you're building a fintech app, right? You have to give it the meat and bones for the app to understand that, hey, I'm building this fintech app that has not only dollars, but also has cryptocurrency. You're able to do X, Y, and Z because the user wants to do X, Y, and Z, right? You have to give it the meat and bones so the AI agent knows, okay, this is the context. This is what I'm working with, right? So this initially, the context will be like your meat and bones to set in the foundation for your overarching app. Next is being able, and I actually want to actually flip that. Next, I would say constraints, because when you build an app, you have to refactor your codes of line. And just to keep it simple, it just has to be at 300 lines of code. If not, everything will be disorganized for the agent as it continues to build, right? So I would say that constraints and context should be together so the AI agent knows to, one, understand the context, but also refactor at 300 lines of code every time it precedes that, right? So next, as you're building your user story, and as you're building your features, what I like to use is a user story. As a user, I want to be able to transfer money so that X, Y, and Z, and I get X, Y, and Z. And I'm explaining that a little bit better in real time, what that actually looks like. But the user story provides you the goal, the benefit, and the outcome of that user, right? You want to be able to put yourself as a user and say, hey, if I'm going to be building this app, what do I want as a user when I'm doing this continuously every day? Or if I'm going on this app every day to find a babysitter or to transfer money or to, you can just vibe things. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? um, and you have to be able to really get in that vibe of, okay, I want to just build this as a user so it can kind of resonate towards them, right? The last two, I wouldn't focus too much on it because that will get a little bit more complex. But for my coders out there, if there are any, I've also been playing around like output format. So ideally, having the AI respond with the code and explanations of the code. If you're really trying to get into the meat and bones and understand better of what the code is really saying. But again, for the first timers, you don't have to really focus on that too much. I was so locked in vibing. I see you. And then last but not least, iteration loop, right? Be able to like revise the error handling, being able to kind of understand that humans makes mistakes, but also AI makes mistakes as well. So it has to be a revision loophole where you have to say, hey, revise this to, you know, make sure that there's no errors when I sign in, or revise this to make sure that when I send money, there is no errors, right? You have to make sure that you're telling the AI to revise your work. Because if not, you're going to have a shitty app. And we don't want shitty apps. We want cool apps. We want apps that have the ultimate vibes and being able to ship them. So I would definitely share these slides for you because I think that there's a lot of important things on here. So from prototype to production, right? As I mentioned earlier, you have to validate your idea. Does anyone actually want this? I say that because you don't want to waste your time on credits, right? You don't want to waste your time. I mean, you could also vibe out, right? You could just vibe out and see, like, okay, like this is cool. I like what I'm building. But if you're really trying to go to market with something, you have to validate your idea. Does anyone actually want this? Who wants to be part of my community? Who wants to pay the $10 to $15 a month of the service that you're providing? Next, I would refactor to scale, right? Like make sure the AI is cleaning the code along the way. As I mentioned before, revising the code. We're humans. We make mistakes, but also AI makes mistakes as well. And as mentioned, like humans, AI doesn't always write the secure code. So you also have to do a security audit. I think it's super essential. And I say that because there's been people that have been building apps and they've been getting hacked, unfortunately. You have to make sure that you have your security up to the T, because if not, you're going to lose out on money. You're going to have a lot of the headaches, and I don't want that for you. So to avoid that, I would hire a specialist for those gaps that you may not understand. We are all visionaries, but in some way, some form, we also do have to have other specialists come in and say, hey, can you come look at this code and make sure it's good before shipping it out to the mass public, right? I think it's important, and I think it's important due diligence to take into account. And as I mentioned, just continuously doing the iteration, right? Making sure that you're shipping as much as you can, getting that feedback and improving your app, because that's what's going to make your app valuable. That's what's going to provide value to your users. And you want that continuously flow, right? You want to be able to improve over time. So, alrighty, these are some of the tools that I've been using. Lovable, honestly, is up there number one because it's actually my favorite. I use Cursor, Windsurf. I'm surprised I didn't put Versal in there, which is crazy. But O'Hara are some of the tools that I use to build apps. Now, some of the other tools that I use to really ideate and kind of get my juices flowing and really trying to figure out like what should I build? You know, how should I perfect my ideas? Is Canva. And the reason why I like Canva is because you're able to actually prototype it, right? Like if you have a vision and you want to just map out like what the app would look like, you can take that same image and upload it to Lovable and it will emulate that same functionality. Yes, Versal is my favorite too as well. Nice, Valerie. Cursor is really good too as well. Yeah, Versal and Lovable has really been my jam. Replit is really good too as well. Um, you can take those images from Canva and upload it to Lovable. You can upload it to Versal. If you're familiar with Figma, you know, if you're really good with Figma, you could also design it on Figma. But if this is your first time, right, go to Canva, play around with Canva a little bit, do some design sketches, and just upload it and see what happens. I think it's really cool on how it's able to Figma MPC to Cursor. Absolutely. Now that's probably another conversation for another day. Definitely want to make sure that users that have no idea what I'm talking about are able to kind of ease their way into vibe coding with certain skills and seasoning, right? Just because MSCP, it gets confusing for those who don't really understand AI. Period, right? So this definitely is part one of Vibe Coding 101. I definitely want to implement more of a lot of the nuances that are out there, as mentioned in the comments as well. But for now, I want to keep it easy for you guys. So I created 3 tools for you guys and for the masses because I think these tools will be able to help you out along the way to not only ideate, but also map out your ideas, map out your features, your user stories. And if you're not really a great prompter, we also have an app for that too as well. So this is where we're gonna have some fun now. And I'm glad that we're hitting just on the time mark. It is 2:30. So these next 30 minutes, we're gonna be building live. Anyone in the chat who wants to be, I guess, a volunteer so we can build your app in person? Anyone? Any ideas? As I get this set up, Karima, if you could just take a look at the chat. Anyone? I promise I won't steal your idea. A blind dating app. I like the blind dating app. All right. Podcast discovery app. That's funny. I'm actually working on something like that. All right. Um, a fishing spot finder app. That's interesting. All right. Who said blind dating app? I like that. That's different. Yeah, that's hilarious. I bet. Yeah, I could do that. um, yeah, I could do that. It's alrighty. And I'll keep it simple. So I'll vibe coded. I think this is like one of my favorites. And it's my portfolio. Um, I vibe coded a MySpace inspired portfolio. Because for me, coding really started for me during the MySpace days. So I wanted to kind of relive that nostalgia again. I wanted to kind of like reintroduce that to other people who ever look at my portfolio and say, "Oh, wow, this is vibes. Like I can, this is taking me back." Um, so yeah, it works just like MySpace, but it's just my portfolio. You can look at my profile. I'm still trying to get the music to work for some strange reason. Um, the code, thank you. So the code is hosted on Superbase, um, and I've just been sharing this, and people have really been liking it. These are some of the projects that I've worked on. Clover was one of the first products that I built, based out of South Korea. And then these are just some personal projects that I've built along the way, just because I just like vibe coding. That's kind of just been my jam. And my resume, you can look at to my resume. I got you, definitely. I've been using this as like a resume, to kind of really showcase people that, this is what I do. Um, and to be able to have, what are these? So Superbase is really where it holds like your data. Um, so let's say like for login purposes, if you have a whole bunch of people logging in, like it'll pretty much is your backend for everything. So just yeah, yep, the DB, absolutely, yep. Um, so yeah, so this is one of my, like, honestly, from a vibe coding perspective, like this is like one of my favorite landing pages right now. I did vibe code like a Windows 99 kind of portfolio too. But yeah, that's just kind of been my jam. I think we're gonna get to. I'll show you guys one more. Someone say Discovery podcast. I thought that was interesting. Um, Let me go back. Just because I actually started building something similar to that. I call it Podflow. Where is it? Oh, right here. So Podflow is honestly something that I listen to podcasts. Um, are these capable? Yes, absolutely. But that's definitely something that definitely for another call, just because there's some nuances with that when it comes to deployment. But definitely, you can definitely be able to deploy. Um, so Podflow, yeah, definitely great question. Podflow is something that I kind of just created, connect and listen and share. So if you're a podcast listener, I feel like something that's missing is community and being able to listen live with community members. So I was just like, let's create a social media that has podcasts. Why not? Right. So to be able to just have that, I think will be pretty dope. It has the quote unquote play button here. Um, and you're able to go to the libraries and go to home, right? It's very minimal, right? There's not a lot going on, but there's some nuances to it, right? Like I can be able to explore a little bit more. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the initial prototype for Podflow. I definitely want to be able to show you in real time to be able to build an app. So I think I'm going to go with the blind dating app because I thought that was funny, and I think that'd be hella interesting to to do. So whoever said a silent rave app is actually fire too. Whoever said a blind dating app, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit here. What do you want the blind dating app name to be? Do you have any idea? If not, I'm gonna pick it for you. Probably not. All right, I'm gonna go with blind. I'm gonna go with blind for now. So we're gonna say a blind dating app that allows users to. Now, I do want to preface though. Oh, I like that blind. Peekaboo. I actually like BLND. That's fire. Um, so a blind dating app that allows users to date. Uh, Actually, let's do this. Blind dating app that allows users to meet blindly for the first time. Right now, if you're Peekaboo, yeah, it's definitely hilarious. Now, if you're using this tool, which I'll be providing you at the end of the call, you want to definitely, and just for time's sakes, you definitely want to be able to kind of put a little bit more meat and bones on your project description, um, and being able to just again provide that context. Right, this one sentence won't suffice, but just for time's sakes, you're gonna do just use that. Right. What do you want to be the objectives to be? To date. All right, you want to be able to date, meet new people, maybe get married. I don't know, right? People, get married. Um, word. So I'll keep it at that. To date, meet new people, get married, right? So key features. I would say swipe. Well, how would that work, right? Because if it's a blind dating app and you don't know who the person is, are we just swiping on the information we know, right? Swiping on information we know. A blind dating app is actually really swipe on credentials. I actually like that better. Swipe on credentials. What else? Swipe on uh common version of love is blind. Uh Swipe on common things. Right? I'm just making shit up now at this point because swipe on hobbies. Some good ones. Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat. Last one, swipe on. Yes, food is important, right? Because if we can't eat the same food, and then what are we doing? All right, cool. Appreciate it, chat. Nah, this is not for blind people. Hey, yo. No, 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 no. So alrighty. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna generate this PRD. And the PRD is gonna take some time for it to generate. Let's see. Let AI work its magic and do what it does best. Oh, we got an error. I love errors. Why? Because we could just fix it in real time. So we're going to fix this in real time. So whenever you have an error, I always like to say, please fix JSON error. Very early and often. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's part of the game, right? Yeah, this is built with O'Hara. I feel like with O'Hara, sometimes there's definitely a commonality with this. Yeah, they have crypto native integrations where you can set up like a wallet. You can set up, you know, whatever you like to honestly be game. Alrighty. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I could show you guys right here real quickly for those who are intrigued, right? Like you can add these like APIs that it has already, and it's free if you're building on here. So if you want a search engine, if you want a text to image generation, I built a Bob's Burger like recipe generator. So it has that API integration there. It has OpenAI. It has a lot of free APIs. I would definitely take advantage of that. Um, Alrighty. So let's do MVIND. Unfortunately, it took out everything. A blind dating app. I'm gonna just keep it short and sweet, just for time's sake. The free APIs. So like when you're building on O'Hara, the APIs are there, right? Like you could just literally click to connect build, and like it'll connect that API for you. Like there's no, yeah, it's pretty easy. Um, yeah. Alrighty. So a blind dating app, project objectives, uh, meet someone new to date, to marry. I'm gonna send all the resources at the end of the call with the PDF. I have a PDF for you guys. I have like a whole starter kit for you guys at the end of the call, so no worries on that. Some key features: swipe on food, swipe on health, because that's important too. Swipe on money goals. I'll just keep it at the top three. Other ones were really good, but for the sake of time here. And we're gonna generate the PRD. Hopefully this works. If not, we're gonna have to holler at O'Hara and see what's going on. If not, I'll use a different tool that I use as well to be able to create prompts. But I definitely want to be able to show you guys this PRD document that it provides me because I think it'll be important. Thank you, Edwin. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Did I make the PRD? What do you mean, Valerie? Can you elaborate? Oops. Oh, so yeah, I created the PRD generator. I created the PRD generator, and yeah, I'm hoping I'm answering your question right. Alrighty, so I have that. So now I'm just gonna share my entire screen, just so you guys can see. Alrighty. Alrighty, so it created in text format, not the best option, but you're able to kind of just see the structure, right? So I'm just gonna zoom here. Hopefully you guys can see it, right? Clearly, the more we put into this project overview, the more you get out of it. But this is just kind of giving you a structure of what a PRD looks like. So it gives you the key features. It gives you the executive summary. Usually, executive summary is a bit longer, but for time's sake, we're going to keep it nice and short and sweet. So Blind is a new innovative blind dating app that aims to revolutionize the way people meet, date, potentially marry, unlike traditional dating apps. Blind matches users based on their preferences in food, health, and financial goals rather than just physical appearance. All right. Problem statement: online dating is often superficial, which it is true. It is true. We usually go based on looks, not what like the goals and values that we can provide each other. So there's definitely a use case. Whoever say blind dating app, I would continue working on that. So some of the goals and objectives: enable users to meet new people with shared interests, facilitate dating and relationships based on common values and goals. right? So this is something I wanted to share with you guys, and that's the user story, right? I like this because this paints the picture for you as what the user or yourself will want while you're using this app. So as a user, I want to swipe on food preferences so I can find somebody who enjoys the same types of food, which is interesting, right? Like if you're swiping on like, oh, I like lasagna, right? And someone else likes lasagna, then you can finally meet up. I'm not sure how that would work, of course, but I think that having food preferences is something that people do look towards to, right? As a user, I want to swipe on health habits so I can find someone who shares my health conscious lifestyle. I think that's important too. I'm an avid runner. I would love to see if you could run with me, right? Like, why? Like, let's do these things together. As a user, I want to swipe on financial goals so I can find someone who values financial stability and has a similar financial aspirations. 1,000%. You want to be able to, find that match who suits your financial goals, right? And then it gives you like the functional requirements, the non-functional requirements, some technical requirements, and then it gives you a timeline and milestones. Now this gets more meat and bones, but for me, what I would do, right? I would just for the shits and giggles for today, right? I would just copy the one, two, three, and four, and have that be the context that I want to implement into the AI, right? So I'm going to copy. We're going to exit out of here. And then I'm just going to briefly, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the chat as I was sharing my screen. And we're going to go back to Lovable. And in Lovable, we're going to copy and paste. And then what I want to do is kind of edit this a little bit and say, please build, please refactor at 300 lines of code. And then I don't think problem statement should matter, but you know what? I think it's also good as part of a constraint. So it understands that let's not make this app superficial. Let's keep it on a kind of base value. And let's build. Now, this portion takes, it depends, 2 to 3 minutes. It depends, right? Like, I'm inspired by your, that's funny. Yeah, so it depends. It could take a couple of minutes. But as we're doing that, I would love to, can building these apps factor any deadlines? Oh yeah, absolutely. So when you're building these apps, you can definitely like go in there and edit, right? Like if you have the logo, you can kind of swap out the logo. You can provide it like your brand palette if you want to as well. Like you can do a lot of things. The first go around, it would just kind of generate its own. Yeah, you definitely do need like SVGs and hex color codes. Absolutely. Yeah, the first go around though, it will probably do its own thing. But as you're building and you kind of get into the nuance of it, you can definitely apply or enhance the branding or the UI per se. Your experience with these, what was the question again? Your experience with these apps, referencing slash integrating. Yep, you could also import Figma files directly into Lovable as well. But for some who are not familiar with that, you could also do like wireframes. So wireframes is like the skeleton of your app. You could do that on Canva too as well if you're trying to get like the correct branding too as well. Canva works fine too, but you could also as well use Figma. I'm a fan of both, but for those who don't understand Figma or are not designers, you know, definitely you could use Canva as well. This app is building, as we can see. Like it's really going all in right now. But I'm happy to just continue answering questions as this continues to build because it is going to take a couple of minutes as we are here. I guess in the meantime, while that's building, I want to show you guys another tool for the sake of time here. Um, and I think this is more or less for those who don't know or are not too sure on how to prompt. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Perfect. Nah, it's not a stupid question. That's a valid question. Vibe coding is really just like I would say, like, think of it like a lifestyle, right? Like that's just like an artistic way to say like I can put my own swag or my own umph to whatever I'm coding. You know what I'm saying? Like vibe coding is just a lifestyle, or for coders, right? For coders who don't know how to code, that's really what vibe coding is. Lovable is just the platform. Yeah, so vibe coding is just the lifestyle of coding and being able to not know code, but building an app that has code, if that makes sense. Um, so if you want to create your app prompt and you don't know how to do that effectively, you can say, hey, BLND blind dating app, swipe on food, swipe on lifestyle, right? So this is another tool that I built. You guys are more than happy to use it if you're trying to build your apps. Um, and then for the tech stack, also, again, I would add this onto the PDF file that I have. But for the tech stack, just put Tailwind and React. Don't worry about what it means for right now. I will provide you that in the PDF, just because it's just technology based, and just for time's sake, we want to be able to make sure we get across this. So the app will give you two things. It will give you a basic prompt or an AI enhanced prompt. I like the AI enhanced, just because it's a lot better. It's generating. Let's go ahead and check on Lovable really quick. Ooh, wow. I really like this. This is dope. Alrighty. Let me just go back here. Doo-doo-doo-doo. All right, as that's prompting, let's go back here just because I really like what Lovable did. This is based on one prompt. This is what it was able to do. It's just right on my screen, right? So date based on what really matters, connects people through shared values in food, health, and financial goals, not just appearances. Match based on what matters, right? And this is just really simple. How Blind works: create your profile, swipe on preferences, connect deeply, meet in person. Let's see, start matching now, right? Like it gives you like already a really like a foundation of your app. So if you like a plant-based diet, I personally, that's not me, so I'm gonna swipe away. I've never done keto diet, so I'm gonna swipe away, right? Like, and if let's say that's your match, then all right, that's your match. So I think this is pretty cool. Now, clearly, not all the features work. Oh wow! So I clicked on matches, and I guess this is one of my matches. um, a plant-based foodie who loves morning runs and saving the house. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, again, this is very minimal, right? It's viable. You're able to now go ahead and fix what you want it to be, for this app, right? So now you can go ahead and fix your profile and set your preferences, right? Like it gives us a lot of features that I didn't ask for. It's literally your MVP now, right? Like you can literally go to somebody and say, hey, like I'm building this. Do you want to build this with me now? Because it works, right? Like there's certain features that actually work. You just now have to go ahead and prompt it with the tools that I gave you, as far as building the user stories, being able to go ahead and build out the features and the outcomes. Um, and I think that just based off this one prompt that we use, using a generator, I think it's very, very, very effective. In other words, working with publicly available APIs, also working with library, etc. Huh? Oh, okay. Somebody was just asking a question. Okay, but yeah, we are at 5 minutes of time, and I definitely want to give some time. Actually, before I even do that, so this is the prompt that it gave me. This is more in detail prompt, right? Like what this does now is it really goes into the nitty gritty to be able to kind of organize your app structures and your code structures, your component hierarchy. So it really goes into details for people who don't really know how to like kind of go about it. It does it all for you. You can literally copy this whole prompt and you'll get like a beautiful foundation of your app. I think it's an effective tool if you're just trying to vibe code, trying to figure out like, okay, like what am I trying to build? At the same time, I think it's also an effective tool to be able to map out what your app really is and your features, because I think that's important. So remember, focus on the top 5 features, focus on the meat and bones, the context, like what this app is really all about, and you'll be able to get an effective prompt. Um, I will be giving you guys a PDF file where I would be explaining a lot of these tools as well. Just kind of have that as a guide. There will be a part 2 of this. You're welcome, Astrid. Thank you so much for coming. You can definitely integrate an e-commerce platform. Absolutely. I'm actually working with a client right now. They have a landing page and they want to include an e-commerce page to sell some merch. So you could definitely do that. That's honestly, like there's so many things you can do, which is crazy. Um, so yeah, I want to just kind of thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. Kind of want to give at least three to 4 minutes. Any questions, happy to answer. Again, I will give you a guide, pretty much like a starter kit on how to use these tools. And Valerie, go right ahead if you have a question.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So after you build your MVP, what kind of collaborators are you looking to work with? If you can do all of that by yourself, like what would, as like a product manager, I think that's what you said your background is, like what else would
Yeah.
you want to collaborate with people on? Like if you're bringing on another builder?
Yeah, that's a great question. I probably would say like marketers, community members, being able to collab with those types of folks to really enhance the product. The product itself will not speak for itself. I mean, it could, but I think that being able to have a good solid of like 5 people to work on this app, I think will be able to really 10x your productivity, right? And I also feel like although from a product manager perspective, you do still need